What is up, wrestling world? Welcome back to the Degeneration Next Era of Wrestling. This is episode 1, Raw after the most stupendous Mania of all time. Tonight is the official beginning of Triple H taking over WWE, Shawn Michaels taking over NXT. So let's get into it. Raw after the most stupendous Mania. Kicking off the show, Triple H comes out. He's talking about the Degeneration Next Era of Wrestling. He's going over the plan for the WWE World Championship, the new title for the Raw brand. He's interrupted by Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. They come out, they say, hey, Hunter, you've helped us before. You've helped both of us win the championship before. So why don't you do us another favor and give us the first shot at the new WWE World title? And right then, Cody Rhodes interrupts them and says, listen, Hunter, I know that you and we have our differences. I talked a lot of trash about you when I was over at AEW, but I actually won my match at WrestleMania. I'm here back in the WWE to win championships. I deserve the first shot at the WWE World Championship. I'm here to win it for my family, for my father, Dusty Rhodes. Hunter says, you know what? We will deal with who's going to be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash next week. Tonight, we're going to fight. It's going to be Cody Rhodes and a tag team partner of my choosing, the new Raw GM, versus Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. That match is happening right now. And oh, by the way, the new GM is somebody that Kevin Owens is very familiar with. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. The new Raw GM is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He teams up with Cody Rhodes in a tag match against Rollins and KO. Cody Rhodes and Steve Austin defeat Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens in 12 minutes and 26 seconds. Steve Austin pinned Kevin Owens with a stunner. Gotta love it. Okay, so Cody Rhodes and Steve Austin had excellent chemistry. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens had great chemistry. That was probably a great match. Good way to hype it up. Get the episode started. Next up, Daniel Cormier in an interview. He's talking about why he's here in WWE. He's here because he's tired of Brock Lesnar dodging him. He's been waiting to fight him since 2008, since way back at UFC, like 266, when Daniel Cormier won and Brock Lesnar got into the octagon and they got in a little tussle. We all thought we were going to get Daniel Cormier versus Brock Lesnar in a UFC match, but Brock Lesnar's been dodging him. But he said, you know what? I'm coming to the WWE. I'm coming for Brock Lesnar. That's why I cost him the championship match last night, because I want a piece of him. And after I take down Brock Lesnar, I want a shot at the WWE World title. MVP, Bobby Lashley, they interrupt him. MVP says, listen here, you don't just get to show up to the WWE and automatically start getting main event fights and get put in World Heavyweight Championship matches. You got to pay your dues. We got to see what you're worth. If you're even worthy of being in the WWE. Daniel Cormier says, you know what? I'll fight you right now, Bobby Lashley. Let's go. And MVP says, whoa, you got to even see if you can even prove your worth to be in the same ring as Bobby Lashley. So you need to prove yourself before you get any match with Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar. Next up, Tommaso Champa. He's in the ring for his debut match on Raw. He has a match with Otis Dozovic. He beats him in 8 minutes. Champa and Otis have great ring chemistry. Otis and Chad Gable on after the match, not very happy with what went down. Tommaso Champa gets a win on his Raw debut. Next up, RK Bros in the ring. They're talking about defending their titles. They're interrupted by Miz and Logan Paul. Miz and Logan Paul say, we are the A-list team here on Raw. We won our match at WrestleMania. We're next in line for a shot at the Raw Tag Team Championships because we are the A-list tag team. Street Profits interrupt them. They say, listen, we weren't the ones that got pinned at WrestleMania. We want a match with RK Bro for the tag titles next. Got some arguing back and forth between Miz and Logan Paul and the Street Profits. RK Bro says, how about next week we have a number one contenders match, Miz and Logan Paul versus Street Profits. The winners will face RK Bro at Backlash for the tag team championships. And they agree to that. And Miz and Logan Paul say, but for right now, The Miz, he wants a shot at Angelo Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins says he's fine with that. RK Bro, they join the commentary. Miz and Angelo Dawkins have a match. Angelo Dawkins seems off his game. But a pretty good match overall, 66. Next up, backstage, Dakota Kai, the women's WrestleMania Battle Royale winner. She's having an interview with Stephanie McMahon, the commissioner. Triple H appointed Stephanie McMahon as the commissioner of Raw again. And so she's interviewing Dakota Kai, and she's hyping up her Raw debut match next week against Natalya. Okay, cuts to backstage. Ciampa is getting beat down by Chad Gable and Otis. They're not happy with Ciampa showing up on Raw, picking up the win. So they beat him down backstage. Only a 48 overall segment, not too great. That's okay. Next up, AJ Styles. He wants his rematch right now, tonight. Rematch of Edge vs. AJ at WrestleMania. Damian Priest is not allowed at ringside. They put on a fantastic match, but in the middle of the match, AJ Styles looks like he's about to pull off the win. Edge grabs a chair, boom, hits AJ Styles, starts beating him down with the chair. He doesn't care. He already won at WrestleMania. Gets himself intentionally disqualified because he didn't want to lose. Next up, we have Bianca Bel-Air. She's having her championship celebration in the ring because she is the new Raw Women's Champion. She main evented night one of WrestleMania. She had her moment. Championship celebration. Becky Lynch comes out talking about how she was distracted and she should have won. She's the true champion. She wants her rematch right now. Bianca says, no, I'm not going to get it. Like, the rematch clause, that's one of the things Triple H has changed. There is no more rematch clause. One of my least favorite things in all of WWE. I hate when a feud has a great match and a champion changes and it should be the end of the feud, and then they have that forced rematch clause. But Becky insists. She comes down to the ring. She's pissed. She starts beating up Bianca Belair, and Asuka returns. She comes and saves Bianca from Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch runs off. Bianca Belair, Asuka, they kind of have their moment in the ring of respect. And we'll see what next week holds for this feud. 72 overall segment. I like that. Doing good. I'm feeling good about this week's Raw. Next up, we have Austin Theory, or Finn Balor comes out. He issues the United States Open Challenge. Austin Theory comes out. He accepts. Mr. McMahon is with him because Mr. McMahon he has retired from WWE and decided he is just going to be Austin Theory's manager from here on out. That is his new calling in life, is to manage the profit, the future of the WWE. Austin Theory, he really believes in him. 69 overall segment. Okay, so Austin Theory defeats Finn Balor by pinfall with a standing moonsault because Finn Balor is distracted by Damian Priest. Austin Theory wins the U.S. title. 56 overall segment. Yeah, that's not the best. Okay. Workers turning. Yeah, I don't know who's supposed to turn, so we're just going to continue. Next up, main event time. The Bloodline comes down to the ring. They're here to talk about how they are the most dominant faction in WWE history. Nobody can stop the Bloodline. Roman Reigns is the undisputed championship. He relinquishes the WWE championship because that is now going to be the WWE World Championship with the old school 1990s belt look and feel, because we're going back to all the old school looking belts. Hanging on to the Universal title, which is now the undisputed title. He's here to talk about how nobody's going to stop him. Nobody can stop the Usos. They want to know who's next. Everybody needs to acknowledge Roman Reigns. Everybody needs to acknowledge the Bloodline. And that's how we go off air. The Bloodline standing tall, holding up their belts. We'll see what SmackDown has in store for the Bloodline and who's going to challenge them. And then lastly, we're going to be having a good dark match every, I like the dark matches. I think those are fun. So, so dark match goes off the air. Drew comes out and challenges Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns picks up the win. Surprised that was only a 59 overall segment, but okay. So for this Raw, I'm gonna say it's 70 overall. I think that's pretty good. 66, okay. Lost. Wow, man, look at all those 70s. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Probably gonna lose some popularity, but let's finish the show. And then we will get back to the office and check on the news. Okay, so we are back at the office. We're gonna check the mail. So Raw figures. 3.1 million overall viewers. I like that. AB1 is unhappy because we only got some of these. I gotta get a 70 overall every time, which is kind of tough. So AB1, Fox Sports unhappy. I mean, that was a banger show, and I only got a 66. So I don't know. Rey Mysterio's opinion. I'm liking what I hear from Elias. There's money in his promos, given the airtime. Okay. I'm probably gonna change him over to Ezekiel. I like that. I like that gimmick, so I'll probably change that over. Drug fees. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's check the news here. New team in. Okay. AEW Dark. Let's see what they had going on. Oh, can I look at the show? I guess I can't. Nothing too interesting there in the news. So next up, I changed. SmackDown is on Tuesdays, so we're gonna do two WWE. I moved it to Tuesday so I could do both the WWE shows in a row and then get to NXT. So next up will be SmackDown.